Once more, I'm Ellie, and today we're going to be talking about sustainable fashion, environmentalism, and pop culture. It is going to be a short stream just because I have to head off to work soon. Yes, I work about 3-4 jobs in total. Um, so it's going to be a short stream, but I do want to talk about the issues that are going on with Conde Nast and Team Vogue. There's some HR dramas that I want to touch on, and then there is also the Shein debate in France about whether it is appropriate for them to open up a store in a really prestigious building in France, and the conversation around how France wants to possibly ban them from the country and if that's even, possible. And then I also want to really touch on MIT, who is creating this really innovative software to possibly help with sustainable fashion initiatives by providing a way to have a way to figure out like the pattern of the clothing so we can upcycle it in a bit of a better way. Let me check the audio. Okay. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to share my screen. So this is the Canva deck that I work out of. If you want access to it, it's in my link. And it's free, and it has a compilation of all the news that I'm going to be talking about. So if you don't want to stay for the entire live stream, this is a resource for you. This is specifically made for you. I typically go live in the afternoons, but I was testing out morning streams, so hopefully you like these. Feel free to submit anything you want me to talk about in the form community submission. This link is also in my description, but I do want to talk about the personal news real quick before I get started, but I do want to touch on how I am based in Illinois, and it's been snowing a lot, and I'm worried about my stray cats before my previous live stream crashed and the audio went terribly. I was talking about this, but yeah, I'm really scared about the quote-unquote feral / stray cats that are out in my neighborhood. I could have adopted them in a way, but then I would have been kicked out of my house, so it's either sacrificing myself or saving these cats, and I'm like, oh, I need rent. I need to live somewhere. So it's really sad, but hopefully they do fine. I'm gonna do like a little shelter for them in the backyard, do like a heated blanket / heat generator of some sort, but that's really all I can do. But other than that, I've been experimenting a lot with live streams, seeing how I can do these during the day or during the morning. I do have to figure out a schedule that works out for my busy lifestyle, so hopefully you enjoy these nonetheless, no matter what time it is. And there's a lot being improved, slowly trying to figure out like what subscriptions mean, what bits mean. I literally have Twitch for Dummies in my book bag. I've been reading it for the past like couple months, and it's just all really confusing, but I'm trying to get better. Trying to invest in a new camera as well, because this one's not filling up the entire screen. It's cut off. I don't know why they do that, but that's why I have the white background, just because it's a really crappy like Brio camera, but we'll hopefully get a new camera soon. I believe payday is this Friday. I feel like I haven't received a check in a long time, to be honest. But yeah, that's really most of the stuff that I've been dealing with. I recently got my car fixed. This Sunday my dad worked on it so that it can work better, which is crazy because the mechanics I had gone to said that my car was literally dead and that there was no remedy for it. And then my dad like changed the motor, changed the battery, changed the shock system, or I don't know what he fixed yesterday. I just paid for it. But it works so much better. And it's stuff like freaking mechanics telling me it's dead, but it works fine now, so I'm really grateful. I did not have money for a new car, and I did not have money for Ubers, so that's a godsend. But yeah, that's kind of like what I've been up to. Really boring, like just working schedules, just working all the time. But hopefully trying to go to the Christmas parades. There's one happening November 22nd in Chicago that I want to go to. But other than that, it's been a very chill week. So I'm excited to get into the news because that's what's on my mind. Let's get over into the news. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the Conde Nast union. So they're now filing a federal labor complaint, which is very much needed because Vogue has been acting sketchy with absorbing Teen Vogue, which has been so known for their political, involvement. They have published a lot of think pieces, blogs. They've been publishing things on social media that have combined really fashion with politics in a way that has never been seen before, and it really resonated with Gen Z consumers and also with anyone that really cares about that intersection. But things have just gotten more contentious. I don't know the full details of this union debate, so let's go to this article that hopefully breaks it down. I saw a video on TikTok where they were like fighting with each other. There was a showdown. But let's see. There's a video. This one actually is behind a paywall. So I'll go and find another one because I am not about to pay. I am not about to pay to learn. I hate when they do that. Like, why do you hide stuff behind a paywall? I'm just gonna go to Yahoo. So it says Conde Nast, or Conde United, which is a union representing the most... Let me restart. Conde United, the union representing most Conde Nast employees, filed a federal complaint and multiple grievances against the company after it fired multiple employees who confronted its head of human resources over the layoffs of 6 unionized staffers at Teen Vogue. So the company also issued 3-day suspensions to 5 other employees who participated in the confrontation, the union said, demanding their reinstatement as well. So the measures come after Conde Nast on Wednesday fired 4 employees among a group of roughly 20 editorial staffers who stood outside Chief People Officer Stan Duncan's office at its One World Trade Center headquarters and urged him to speak with them about the decision to fold Teen Vogue into Vogue and lay off the staffers. So Conde Nast claimed that the employees exhibited extreme misconduct in their actions, but videos obtained by the Wrap on Thursday showed Duncan repeatedly refusing to engage with them and urging them to return to their workplace assignments. A Conde Nast spokesperson said on Friday the footage captures only a portion of the incident and that several additional minutes are missing, but did not respond to the Wrap's request to provide or elaborate on the missing minutes of footage. The Wrap is also, for you guys to know, the article that I'm reading, if that wasn't clear, but I do just want to watch the video. I hate when they explain a video when we can just watch the video. So let's see, is there any videos here? Nope. Why do we get football? What do we just get football for? Conde Nast Union video. Let's see what comes up. Let's see. I don't want to go on Facebook. Let's see. New York Post.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words.
We appreciate.
Did you see how it didn't even let me mute the commercial? Ugh. They're getting more insidious with the commercials on YouTube. Let me backtrack. Audio. Okay, let's do this.
We'd appreciate if you would go back to the workplace where you're...
Is there a place that you would be able to speak to us?
Not today. We have other things going on.
Do you think we're not worth speaking to, Stan?
Those are your words, not mine.
Okay, so we don't really need that. Okay, where's the actual video though? Where's the actual tea? I saw it on TikTok. Maybe I'll just pull up TikTok. Yeah, it's not showing up. Let's see. I saw it on TikTok, so let's go back to that one. Let's go back to the OG news platform of the Gen Zers, TikTok. Uh-oh. Why did my internet just crash? So sorry guys, my internet just crashed for like a second. That was a glitch, to be honest. I don't know what that was. So sorry guys. I'm back though. Okay, here we go. Why did it pull this up?
This is Halloween,
What's going on?
everybody.
I don't want to watch PokeFest. Come on. No, why is it doing this?
Attending Pokemon Go.
The wrap? Okay, let's just press that. Press this.
Stan, you laid off a third of our camera people. That's incredibly disruptive to my workplace.
We'd like you to move forward, okay?
We'd like you to answer questions.
Stan,
We'd love to move forward.
Stan, if you can't be accountable to your own employees,
No!
Stan, this is literally your job. What is Stan's job if not the head of human resources?
Our colleagues.
Stan, you laid off a third of our camera people. That's incredibly disruptive to my workplace.
We'd like you to move forward, okay?
We'd like you to answer questions.
Stan,
We'd love to move forward.
Stan, if you can't be accountable to your own employees,
No!
Stan, this is literally your job. What is Stan's job if not the head of human resources?
Our colleagues.
I love how the comments are on the far right because some people are like, stop attacking him. This is violence in the workplace. Every single one of you should be terminated on the spot, says Frenchland. Bruh. He's not even from America. He's from Frenchland. Some other person, Mr. Difficult. Bruh. So many people licking boots in the comments. Yikes. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm with Stan. Why would you stand with Stan? These people are asking for basic information. Imagine you're working somewhere that you love or have been dedicated to. You earn your living here and you just get absorbed by Vogue out of nowhere. They don't explain anything. You try to confront them in any way possible. And if they're not giving you a meeting, if there is no one communicating with you, I mean, I feel like it's a natural response to get aggressive or get defensive or get angry, get emotional. And that can create impulsive decisions. But, like, this didn't seem like an impulsive decision by the employees. They were genuinely curious. They came as a collective. And maybe from the outside looking in, it can look a bit violent or a bit, like, aggressive for a bunch of people to, like, confront a guy. But think about how he has basically changed their life with no warning. To make all those decisions with no meeting, being like, hey, this is why, and this will be how your role will be affected, and this will be your pay, and then to have them be laid off if they were the unlucky ones is just, it's scary. It's scary, and you can be the next one in line to be laid off if you don't know the basis of their decisions, if you don't know the reasons of like why they're taking action. So in a way, they were just protecting themselves. And I don't stand with the business executive who is jeopardizing their entire future when it's unnecessary. I feel like Teen Vogue was doing a really good job. I don't know how much money they were making. I don't know if they were profitable, but I imagine they had a really strong following, and I think that could have been profitable for them. I can only imagine though, but they could have done so many things to raise money if money was an issue. But also, I want to note that Vogue and Teen Vogue are two quite different organizations, and they have two different demographics. And I can imagine that the political times had a lot to do with their decision to absorb Teen Vogue more heavily within Vogue, since Vogue is not known for its political, articles and content and stuff. But let's go back to the article. So it says, now the News Guild of New York, which oversees the Conde Nast union, has filed an unfair labor practice and charge with the National Labor Relations Board On behalf of the group, the union wrote that Conde Nast terminated the 4 employees for engaging in protected concerted activity, according to a copy of the complaint obtained exclusively by the Rap. It also filed multiple grievances against Conde Nast for alleged violations of its contract agreement. Imagine if you get fired for just going up to your boss and being like, yo, what's going on? I don't really want to support Conde Nast anymore. We should all boycott Vogue. Let's just not read it anymore. Like, who actually buys the printed Vogue magazines? I used to love those. I would go to the store and I just would flip through them and just dream of owning all the copies. But do we like buy physical Vogue copies anymore? I feel like most of their business is digital media, like digital magazines and the articles and the ad money at the side of the pages and stuff. But yeah, the Conde Nast spokesperson did not respond to the immediate request for comment on the federal labor complaint. I definitely do want to see how this plays out, because this definitely is sketchy behavior on behalf of Conde Nast. It's very concerning. Everything is just screaming sketchy. I don't know the full picture of what's going on, and I don't even think the employees really know what's going on, and I feel like that's why they acted, quote unquote, so aggressively. But I think we all deserve, as a collective, answers. Like, we all deserve what's going on with our favorite magazine, with an organization that has been so important to the culture of Gen Z and their political engagement. And for executives to just be so silent and not transparent about anything that they're doing and just firing whoever on a whim, it's very, 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 very odd. Something is definitely going on. The article continues on to say, in a letter to Duncan on Friday, obtained by the Rap. Oh, I think I already read this. Wait, what? Okay, so in a letter to Duncan on Friday, obtained by the Rap, News Guild of New York President Suzanne DiCarava claimed that senior management at the New Yorker, Wired, Bon Appetit, and its content operations team did not know the company would lay off employees. Holding power to account is what our journalists do every day. So the thing with me is, I really care about Vogue, but like Conde Nast oversees so many different places that it can really affect journalism across so many different spheres and so many different publications. No one is safe. No one is safe. And the thing is, like, the more and more I read about these things, the more I realize, like, the idea or the concept of career is quite literally fake. It's a concept, to be honest. Nothing is safe. You can just be terminated within any whim for any reason, and it's just, you're over. It's over. They're treated just like a disposable machine. So I wonder, like, what career actually treats you like a human. It would be rare, I feel like, to find that nowadays. Sadly. Hopefully it changes. But Dicarava says, holding power to account is what our journalists do every day. The Conde Nast, as a media company, is targeting its own media workers in a ham-fisted attempt to avoid questions about its business practices is an astonishing decision by management. That our members were asking questions about Conde's fairly transparent attempt at political appeasement with the closure of an independent teen Vogue, and that one of the workers illegally fired is a well-regarded White House correspondent, begs the question, what is Conde's commitment to journalism? This is definitely confirming my suspicions. It's confirming my suspicions. This is political appeasement. Well, yeah, for me, it's like, what other reason would they be doing this? The political times that we're in is just influencing a lot of the things that we see. Okay, so the two finalized an agreement in May 2004 after more than a year of acrimonious bargaining that included a day-long walkout, a demonstration outside Conde Nast headquarters, and a threat to upend the Met Gala. So there has been some feuds, there's been some drama, but yeah, the layoffs recently and the firings of the staffing have been just a different tension. It's just escalated everything that they've been feeling in the past. And Conde Nast management seems to have taken a more aggressive approach in curtailing its employees' demonstrations. It wasn't even a demonstration, it was just they were going up to his office being like, yo, dude, what's going on? Oh, this is interesting. So Conde United members on Friday changed their icons on the workplace messaging platform Slack to a shared photo, urging the company to rehire the 4 employees. Jasper Lowe, a senior fact-checker at The New Yorker, Jack LaHood, a senior politics reporter for Wired, Alma Aveli, a digital staffer at Bon Appetit, and Ben Dewey, a video staffer with Conde Nast Entertainment, to their positions. And they continue on to say that management is bullying them and will not stop them from holding Conde accountable for its actions, and we will not stop our questions and will not stop our collective action. You know, to like tell a journalist to not ask questions is like counterintuitive to their nature and to their career. Guys, shut up and don't think, even though your career is to like think and to not shut up. Oh my goodness. Very concerning times for both fashion journalism and for political journalism and just for journalism in general. And I think Conde Nast just has a lot of power. Has too much power, unchecked power. Why is everyone saying fire them on the TikTok? That's literally on the wrong side of the algorithm. HR exists to protect the company from the employees? HR exists to protect the company from the employees. Oh, dang, that's a concept. Is HR anti-union? HR is not your friend. Dang. Yeah, I agree. I don't like HR. It's a bunch of Karens working in that field. Okay. So we're going to move on for the sake of time. But I do want to touch on Shein. So Shein has been in conversations about possibly being banned from France, given that they opened their first store in France against the government's wishes. So they say for now the Asian platform Shein has avoided suspension in France, while it no longer sells any illicit products online, it remains under close surveillance by state services, the government announced on Friday, hailing a fundamental victory. Which is something, you know. It's better than nothing. And this article by Fashion Network goes on to explain that legal proceedings against Shein are continuing, says the French government in a statement, adding that it will also initiate a new proceeding in the upcoming days against other platforms on which the sale of illicit products has been observed. And if you don't know what they're talking about, basically Shein was found to be selling sex dolls on Shein, but they blamed third-party suppliers on uploading that without their approval, which I don't know how that happens, but supposedly they're wrapping up third-party supplier regulations so that doesn't happen again, which is a bunch of BS to say, oh, we don't know what people that sell on our site are actually selling, and we didn't really have a lot of information to work with, and they took it down but avoided the blame. Which is crazy. It literally leaves me speechless. How is it that a brand like Shein has third-party suppliers just uploading stuff without them realizing that it's contentious? But I feel like they're just always going to say whatever to like not have the blame be placed on them for what happens on their brand on their store. But for the French ban, they said on Wednesday that authorities gave Shein 48 hours to comply with the law after the discovery of the site of childlike sex dolls and Category A weapons. That's news to me. Category A weapons? What is Shein doing? Oh my god, that's so disturbing. In a statement on Friday, the government announced that it had secured the removal by Shein of all illicit product. What? In a statement on Friday, the government announced that it had secured the removal by Shein of all illicit products sold on its platform. This outcome follows the platform's decision to suspend its marketplace where products from third-party sellers are offered. So the fraud control Directorate found that there is no longer any illicit products such as child pornographic nature, bladed weapons, or medicines on sale on Shein. Oh my god. This is like basic sense things. You don't want this on your site. Jesus. And then also on Friday, the Interior Ministry referred to the matter to the Paris Judicial Court with the aim of putting an end to the serious damage to public order caused by Shein's repeated failings. Ooh, the French is going after them. In addition, with regard to the sale of the doll, 4 investigations entrusted by the Paris Public Prosecutor's Office to the Office Mineurs are underway, according to the same source. So they have 4 other investigations. They didn't specify. And then France has sent a request for an investigation to the European Commission, which has recognized the seriousness of the situation. Yeah, France is not playing. More generally, the authorities will actively monitor developments on the platform, in particular the maintenance of all precautionary measures taken by Shein, with the government promising to take all necessary measures to prevent the marketing of any illicit products. The other platforms targeted by the government were not named. France wants to shut them down so badly. And they keep telling the European Commission to be like, yo, stop Shein, but the European Commission been lagging. They've been very slow. Very, very chill. We need some urgency against fast fashion, because if we don't take any urgency against them, it's just going to get worse. And the way that they produce items so quickly, like, we need to be at their speed, or else they're gonna outproduce us, outcompete us before we know it. And that's what they've done. That's why they're in France. They had a partnership with this other brand, and that's how they got into the building. And France is like, bruh, you can't just do a loophole like that. You can't just team up with a brand in France to avoid governmental like regulation and banning. But Shein's like, well, I opened up the store. Ugh, very insidious brand. Very, very, very insidious. But I do want to talk about some good news. So one of the good news that I have seen is that there was recently the largest clothing swap ever in Chile. And it actually broke a World Guinness record, which is so exciting. It's so exciting. Chile for the win. America could never. So this is actually the World Guinness Record website. No fakes, no fakers here. This is legit. It says revoluciona tu consumo, which means revolutionize your consumption. And then it says hashtag intercambia tu ropa, which means interchange your clothing. Very nice. Oh, I love it. It kind of gives like fashion revolution vibes. But the article explains that when people think about climate change, they may assume the biggest contributors to increasing greenhouse gas emissions are big companies that burn fossil fuels for energy, or vehicles like cars or ships that emit a choking exhaust when they transport goods from place to place. But this mentality is often used to displace accountability, and even though work has to be done across all sectors to limit global warming, scientists have urged the everyday consumer to think more consciously about how they spend their money in our age of excess. A very eloquent article. Wow. So one of the main targets is the fashion industry. Research from Business Insider and Earth.org revealed that fashion production makes up 10% of total global carbon emissions, which is as much as the amount of emissions generated by the European Union, and more than all international flights and maritime shipping combined. Dropping some facts. And the industry dries up water sources and pollutes rivers and streams, while 85% of all textiles go to dumps every year, Earth.org explained. Even washing clothes releases 500,000 tons of microfibers into the ocean each year, which is equivalent of 50 billion plastic bottles. And unfortunately, these numbers are not likely to go down in the era of fast fashion, as the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change estimates that emissions from the textile manufacturing alone are projecting to skyrocket by 60% by 2030. And this is amidst the same era where we buy clothes obsessively And Vogue Britain even suggested that shoppers in the UK need to reduce their consumption by up to 80% in certain cases. But for those who love to shop and don't want to spend a ton of money on new clothes, this can be a difficult problem to come to terms with. Y'all are obsessed. Y'all are obsessed. Hello, Marissa. Hello, I see you in the chat. Okay. Okay, so these are pictures. This is hope core for me. But yeah, luckily some organizations are stepping up to the plate, such as the Romantic Show. Oh, I like that. Oh, romantic. It's like a combination of ropa, which is clothes, and like tank. It's like a thing, like a clothing thing show. Romantic. A Chilean collective committed to promoting sustainable and circular fashion. On October 28th, the institution hosted the largest clothing swap in history, with 2,364 participants arriving at the country's capital of Santiago to exchange clothing items in good condition for other high-quality donated garments. They exchanged stuff so they could grab stuff. Nice. Yes. With their slogan, creating a unique, sustainable consumption experience, the attempt sought to raise awareness about excessive clothing consumption and to promote reusing, repairing, and extending the life of garments already in excellent condition. Excellent condition. And then they explain that we have traveled the world showing the mountains of discarded clothing in the desert. We are recognized for the solution, says Maria Jose Gomez, founder of the Romantic Show. Oh, that looks so much fun. I love the yellow. They have a very strong branding. And the activity took place at the Palacio de la Modena in Santiago and lasted 8 hours. Wow. From 11:03 a.m. to 7:03 p.m., the participants were invited to donate clothing items in good condition in exchange for new garments under strict verification of the record's rules, thereby engaging in sustainable fashion practices and preventing more high-quality goods from entering landfills. Along with the Romantic Show, other institutions chipped in to help run the event, like the Ministry of the Environment, CORFO, and private sponsors, including the Mall Plaza, which served as a main collection partner through its De Mano en Mano, from hand to hand campaign. Here's some pictures. Nice. It looked like good clothing too. This looks like good clothing. Savage Gink, hello milady. Okay, so yeah, I really would have loved to have gone to this. Upon entering the event space, attendees were met with racks and racks of clothes organized into different wardrobes and sizes and seasons, and the atmosphere of the mall was lively and thoughtful as people browsed for new outfits. Yeah, I wonder how hard this was to pull off, like logistically. How did they market this? Did they have a budget? Did they have official staff members? What organizations really took part in this? Like, just the logistical pull towards this is crazy. Like, I can only imagine how much work this took. There was also public discussions, wow, that included the impact of sustainable shopping, and then about conscious consumption and the importance of extending the life of clothing through circular fashion practices. Very amazing. Wow. I love their branding. Their branding is a very, very strong. And there was an actual World Guinness Record staffer who was counting the numbers. That's crazy. They're really following the rules. Wow. Wait, do they have any videos on this? You can tell it's like a huge thing. There's so much clothing everywhere. Reducir es no necesitar. Means reducing, means not needing. Huh. Very interesting concept. Very interesting. Okay, let's see if there's any like actual footage of this, because I am curious like what the layout was. And I would love to know how they pulled this off. That'd be really fun to see and learn about. These are the types of interviews we need. Let's not just interview sustainable fashion brands. let's interview the people that are actually doing stuff, you know? That's why I don't really talk about sustainable fashion brands. If you've ever noticed, I don't do free marketing for brands. I only promote these sort of actions that recycle and prevent more clothing from ending up in the landfill. And you can say like a lot of sustainable fashion brands do that, but I would only ever promote like people working with dead stock materials or upcycling stuff, not like, I don't like promoting designers that use like quote unquote like virgin resources or new resources even though they're made sustainably. I feel like that's a contradiction. Okay, let's see. Oh my gosh, this is a video. Commercials! Not the commercials!
En esa línea, también para hacer la estrategia de economía la perspectiva y lo que hacemos hoy en día con la ropa que vestimos diariamente. Así ¿qué le gusta a usted, mi amor? Porque me di cuenta ahorita ya de que se fue con ella. Pues ya. Este intercambio de ropa de jeans para que puedan encontrarse con la Dani reuniendo
Oops, I was muted. I was I was saying that shit was so well organized. Look at the flow. It looked so well put together. They had their little categories. Everything was like sorted. People were mending items. Yeah, there was so much good energy. The women were amazing. They were like literally putting the number on your wrist to count you. Like everything you could tell was really just down to a system. Like everyone knew their role. Who was the mastermind? I want to know who the mastermind is, because this looked really, really, really put together. This will be a new research project. There has been other clothing swaps, like 500 people went to the one in LA recently, but 200 and 300, 2,003, I can't even say the number, 2,300 some people going to one clothing swap? Dang. Oh, they were like testing things on in the moment. Oh.
El intercambio de ropa más grande del mundo hoy en el Centro Cultural de la Moneda.
Maybe it's Maria who was behind this.
Hemos logrado más de 2.000 personas en intercambio. Eso nos hace marcar el primer récord internacional masivo de intercambio de ropa en el mundo.
Este tipo de evento, principalmente por lo que mencionas, el impacto social que puede llegar a tener, es supremamente importante. En este caso nos hablaban primero del impacto del sobreconsumo que existe actualmente no solamente en Chile, sino a nivel mundial. Segundo, el deseo de implementar esta moda circular, de darle una segunda oportunidad a las prendas que están acá. Cualquier participante que esté presente el día de hoy puede dar fe de que todas las prendas que están acá están en óptimas condiciones de uso, que en otras oportunidades terminarían en un vertedero de ropa.
It was Maria. She was the one that was holding up the thing. To talk to Maria. I need to know how she pulled this off. Would she give away tips on how she did this? Or would she just gatekeep it so that she can keep the record? Or does she want people to break her record? That's a good question. That's a good question. Because if you don't want people to like beat your record, that means less clothing is gonna end up being swapped, you know? So it's in her benefit to share this information. Don't gatekeep, lady. I went to a clothing swap recently and we had to drop things off a week before so the organizers could sort. I wonder how they organized that amount of clothing. Oh, that's true. Where did they get that clothing from? That's a good question. They had a lot of it already. And then they were also organizing within the moment. Dang. I don't know. That's a good question. So many questions. But I do want to go on to talk about the Eco Fashion Week that happened in Africa. I'm very excited about this. I think this is a win for everyone in the fashion industry. Sadly, no one is really talking about this. No one is picking up on this. But these are the best, news I can cover in these live streams, and this is why I do it. And basically, this fashion week happens every November. And the aims of not only leveraging the power of fashion to clean up the environment and raise awareness about textile waste, but also play a vital role in promoting and educating people on the Sustainable Development Goals, which are called SDGs. And they have a special focus on SDG 1, 5, 12, 13, 14, and 17, which are different categories on their own. And so this is a week-long event. They feature different activities like environmental cleanups, eco-educational workshops, forums, no new clothes, fashion shows, and swaps. And they're all there to promote the SDG 17, which is to bring together organizations, brands, policymakers, producers, and individuals of all ages who are passionate about eco-culture. So yes, very, very exciting. And they break down the SDGs down here. Very nice, very, very well organized website. And they explain that the Eco Fashion Week Africa is Africa's pioneering zero waste fashion movement and deeply grounded in African truth that reinvention is survival. Very nice. I want to see some videos. Their website is amazing. Here's one of the founders, or the founder, Bruce. This is the slowest fashion week you will ever be part of. It's time for fashion to take drastic actions towards healing our planet and not overproduce for the runway in the name of sustainable fashion. Let's look at their YouTube. Nah! Why didn't the link work? Why didn't the link work? Okay, let's see. So their most recent session was in the beginning of November, so it just passed. So let's see if we can find any videos. So day one, they had a no new clothes runway. Very beautiful. Oh, look at this. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Then they had a kids designer workshop that was free. Had an international panel. Very nice. They talked about indigenous and cultural approaches to sustainable fashion, showcased African leadership in circular fashion, inspired purpose-driven creativity and local empowerment, try to foster cross-regional collaboration within Africa, and to reclaim African narratives in global fashion. Then they had a day 4 youth day, so it was a swap, a panel, and a workshop. Then they had a community cleanup day. Then they had a fashion mixer, very nice, very cool. And then they had a no new clothes runway. Very nice. Oh, I love this. This is so cool. Okay, let's see if they have a video that we can watch. And I think this is going to be the last thing that I cover. I do need to head off to work, and it is snowing. I didn't cover nearly anything I wanted to cover today, so there will be definitely a part 2 on Thursday, I think. Yeah, I only had 1 hour to stream. Right now it says I've been live for 45 minutes. Damn. Sorry. Eco Fashion Week. Let's talk sustainable fashion. Good morning, Kenya. Oh. They have their own YouTube channel. Oh, nice. I'm gonna subscribe to them, but let's go to the other video that we saw. I think that would be informative. This one up here. Not the commercials.
Continue with Entertainment Thursday right here on KBC. Good morning, Kenya. Thank you for staying with us. Right about now, we're going to talk about something that I love. That is fashion. And this time round, we're looking at fashion, yes, but sustainable fashion to be specific. Have you ever heard of a runway where the theme is no new clothes? Yes, that is what we will be talking about. And I have with me the founders of Eco Fashion Week Africa. I have with me Belinda Atieno. Belinda Atieno is a leading voice in Africa's sustainable fashion movement and the co-founder of Eco Fashion Week Africa. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, and right next to Belinda, we have Ruth Anyango. Ruth Anyango is the founder of Dolly the Seamstress, which is a slow fashion and apparel company based in Kenya, and she is a fashion designer by profession and also the co-founder of Eco Fashion Week Africa. Welcome to the program, Ruth.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you ladies on the show. First of all, let us begin with Eco Fashion Week Africa. What inspired that? When did it begin? Just give me the story of Eco Fashion Week Africa.
I'll go first.
All right.
Eco Fashion Week Africa is a mix between my dream and my sister's dream. So as people who are shifting from the fast fashion world all the way to the slow fashion world, we missed a place where you can have fun, you can learn about sustainable fashion, and in the most engaging and inclusive way possible. At the same time, there was a lot of runways that still encourage overproduction. So that's when we decided we merged these two, entertainment, fun, and seriousness when it comes to taking this overproduction seriously. Yeah, that's when Eco Fashion Week Africa was born.
Yeah, and if you notice, in our runways, most of our events, we also have people, we have talks, we have professional people who come in and just speak to the audience. And this is mainly because we speak about climate change and the effects of climate change, and fashion is also part of it. So as she mentioned, we wanted a fun way to engage people, which means we bring people, you enjoy fashion, you see a proper way to, the best way to beat the fashion pollution, and you also have this, we call them experts, who teach. So when you're there, we have the producers, we have fashion lovers, we have the policymakers. Like it's everyone. We come together and learn. Yeah.
And you know, even just speaking about that, fashion waste is among the most pollution coming out of Africa, which is something we never really get to talk about, because I don't know, it's just never in our minds. But if you go to, you know, to do your research, you realize that it is one of the biggest pollution we have in Africa. So you're doing a great thing, you know, just trying to advocate for slow fashion. For someone who maybe is new to these terms, you know, when you talk about slow fashion, what are we talking about? What's the difference between slow fashion and fast fashion?
So slow fashion, let me say it according to our term, or I would say my term. Slow fashion is producing more responsibly. And as you said, fashion is the most polluting in Africa, no, not only in Africa, but in the world. The waste we have is not from us, but it's globally. It's from the Western countries that is coming to us. If you look at our fashion production, like the fundi, you know, the designers, you know, here in Kenya, very few, I think maybe like 2 or 3 designers, I would say that they're not in the fast fashion, but almost getting there. But most of our designers are slow fashion producers. Like, none of the designers produces like 1,000 garments in a day. Most of them, you'll see, a fundi has like 10 maximum, or 20, or 100 max. That is in a month. So we are producing Africa, Kenya, we are producing sustainably, like if in terms of slow. So the only problem is the fabric, the material. These materials, our materials are organic, like cotton in Kenya, but the materials we're getting from the other countries, from outside countries, like polyester, which is now very common, is also polluting. So fast fashion is the one that, like, I don't want to mention names, but the ones that are produced, like in a day, more than 1,000 garments.
All right, let's take a break and then we come back and continue with the conversation. Do not go too far.
Stay on brand across every platform. Keep your branding consistent for all design.
We're back. Now let's continue with the conversation that we had already started. We're talking about sustainable fashion. We're talking about slow fashion. We're talking about Eco Fashion Week Africa. Do you say eco or eco?
I say both.
Potato.
Yeah, I say both because once I said Eco Fashion Week, and someone was like, oh, echo, like what are you echoing? And then in Kenya I say eco, eco fashion week, eco happy. So I play both. I play both sides.
Whichever goes.
As you say, tomato.
Because I say eco, and then I hear other people say echo.
So we just
it's okay.
dance around.
It's okay. So let's get back to it. You had just explained to us what slow fashion means and what fast fashion means. And in Kenya mainly, most of our designers do the slow fashion bit. So but then there's, I don't know where this comes in, because in Kenya we also get to import a lot of mtumba. So where does that fall? Or how does that come in?
That is quite controversial, and everyone has their own opinion in that. So our opinion, or my opinion personally, is that we are saviors. We've been saviors for decades. We have been saving the global, whatever, the West, or however people want to call it. We've been saving them for decades by taking all the trash. So Africa became, because we are so creative, we were picking the trash and finding ways to deal with it, and, you know, bringing mitumba back to life and styling it, because naturally Africans, we are so stylish, we are vibrant. And so you throw trash to us and we're like, oh, wow. Let me make this. Let me make this out of it. Let me make nice pants out of it. So for us, we've been saviors for a very long time, and now it's time for us to be saviors with our own fabrics, with our own, and the saviorism has taken away our own designers' ability to sell, to create. It takes away the creativity. So it's good, mitumba, but at the same time, it's not okay, because we have been, as much as people say we are victims, we are not victims. We are the ones who have been saving the West.
I love how you put that. I never looked at it that way. Like, you know, we are saving all their ways.
But now we are exhausted. We want to go back to our own creativity, use our own materials. We want to wear our own designs and everything, instead of just keep being the saviors that we've been. As
a profession in fashion, as a designer, you know, just would you say, how far are we in terms of us wearing our own? Because I know that's also a big problem. You know, we don't wear our own designers. Sometimes we don't even know the designers we have in the country, and we have amazing, spectacular designers. If you just get into the fashion spectrum of Kenya and you get to realize some designers, you're just like, oh boy. So how far are we to get into a point where we are wearing our own designs?
So how far are we? It also relates to the question you asked about second-hand clothes. Because we have amazing designers, we have amazing fashion houses that create amazing things. But now you see what we have second-hand clothes coming down. You would get something from Tumba at a very cheap price. And then you go to a tailor, you want a tailor to make it to you, then you'll compare the price. Imagine this is something that has been worn, it has come down. And the tailor is making it from scratch, not considering the production cost, the people they are working around with. So how far are we? I think right now we're in a good place. People are starting to understand, people are starting to appreciate African designers. And I love what they're doing. And another thing, I have seen a lot of designers trying to incorporate upcycling in their production, which is also good because still they are saviors. They forget about, or not really forget about, they're still doing what they're doing, they produce what they're producing, but still you see they're upcycling, they're mixing. But our designers, we are there. I feel like we are there, and I have hope that one day we'll have even Eco Fashion Week. As we are going around, we'll have designers going around the world.
So time is coming.
Time is coming, and it's now.
It's now. It's already here with us. I love that. I want us to get back to Eco Fashion Week Africa. So it started back in the year 2019.
In
no,
in
3 years ago.
Back.
So
3 years back, because we're on our because we're on our third season in 2025. So in 2022.
22 actually.
Yes.
Yeah. So it started in 2022.
Yes.
And it has been evolving over time. Because now I saw you have spread your wings.
Yes,
you were showcasing in Uganda on the 1st of November. That is last week on Saturday. So tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, we are, as you say rightfully, we are expanding. And it started in Kenya just as a small thing, a fun thing, just to engage people, as we were saying earlier. And then because we call it Eco Fashion Week Africa, other African countries were like, wait, if it's the Eco Fashion Week Africa, then why are you not here? And the first country to request for us to go there was Uganda. We have a few requests as well from other countries, but the first one was Uganda. And it was very, very successful. The designs there are incredible. What I'm wearing now is from a Ugandan designer. Yeah, so it was amazing. The reception was beautiful, and you are going to see us in other parts of the African continent as well.
I love that. So how many designers were showcasing in Uganda?
In Kampala, we had 9 designers in total. 9. Yes.
Because remember, it's no new clothes runway. So you have to upcycle.
So now let's get to that. It's the no new clothes runway.
No new clothes.
We're used to the runway, like it's new clothes, new collections, new everything. So now this time round, you guys are saying no new clothes. Hatutaki nguo mpya. Tumesema sio mpya, by the way. So you pick what you have, and then work with it. So it's probably like a pants like the ones you're wearing right now. So you pick those ones, and then you pick a fabric from maybe the fabric that remained from this one. Put patches, do something with it, just not something new.
Yeah, and I have to say something about that. When we started, it was more of, patch here, patch there. But designers have shown us that it's not about patching here and patching there. African designers are incredibly creative. In Kampala, it wasn't about patch this, patch that. People were taking materials that are, remember, you can also take dead stock materials. You can take, it has to be existing. You do not go to buy new materials. So it wasn't more like patching. It was really beautiful finishing with the designs were really incredible.
And also, the main purpose for the no new clothes runway is because we are reducing on resource extraction.
Okay, ready. Okay, so very, very informative. I really do love when we get these perspectives and they take action. Very interesting to learn, and definitely will be watching the rest of the video. We watched half of it, so if you want to learn about the rest of their actions, their thoughts, you can go to CBC channel CBC channel 1 TV shows. It's basically Good Morning Kenya. But yes, thank you so much for tuning in. We didn't get through everything that I wanted to get through, but I will be streaming another day this week, so look out for that, most likely on Thursday in the evening. But yeah, hopefully you have a lovely Monday. Take care, because the weather is starting to feel like winter. It's no longer fall for me. I feel like fall was like 2 weeks. But yeah, take care guys. I'll see you in the next stream. Bye. Bye. To all my 6 watchers, thank you for jumping on. Bye.